I read both these books a couple of months ago, and I was just thinking today about like how, like, reflecting on them, and I was like, Rick Riordan really does have a huge case of like man in his 50s, 60s writing teenagers. And I know from the beginning of the book series he was like in his 40s, I think, when he started writing the books, which like is not as apparent because the characters are a lot younger. And he was also writing them in like the 2000s, where like TikTok and like the TikTok slang isn't as much of a thing. Like, I don't feel like boomer was as popular back then. um he has a huge, like, it's very annoying, especially in this book. He'll be like, it's actually a pretty decent book, but like he'll be like, okay boomer, and this Percy, like, they go to like this old folks home, and Percy can't stop referring to the elderly as boomers, and that's really really annoying. I also feel like he uses cringe a lot and just he like uses Gen Z slang that like most Gen Zers don't use. You know what I mean? Unless it's ironically. Like, I never call anyone a boomer unless I'm being ironic. And Percy's not like being ironic about it. And then in The Sun and the Star, I don't know. I was really, really looking forward to this book, and it's just kind of disappointed. I feel like it's because, number one, I wanted a lot more Nico power moments, and I felt like we did not get those. Um, I am happy with some of the issues it addressed, like Nico's self, like how he hates himself and all that stuff. Like, I really did like that. I hated when he spent time with his mom, dad, and dead sister because his sister fucking reincarnated. That should not have been possible. And then like his mom, I don't know. I think that wasn't really needed in my opinion, because most of his trauma at that point came from more his own, like him and Bianca's relationship, and then him accepting his gayness and the darkness in him, as well as accepting being like a social outcast for so long, as opposed to like his mother's death, which definitely affected him, but like not as much as the other things, which is why I feel like it didn't need to be as focused as it was. I'm not saying like the relationship shouldn't have been talked about at all. I'm just saying it was too much. Um, and then like it was just weird. I think it's because it was written by another author, like in they were both writing at the same time. Nico didn't always feel like Nico. He also felt like he'd been completely nerfed, which I feel like always happens to poor Neeks. Like, in every single moment when it should be like a Nico shining moment, he's like nerfed. Like, I feel like that happened a lot in Heroes of Olympus, happened a lot in Trials of Apollo. Like, for example, in Percy Jackson, while they're trying to like escape Luke in the Battle of the Labyrinth, Nico makes like this huge ass spike appear out of the ground. Like, that's very similar to some of Hazel's powers we see, and I wish we'd gotten more of that. And like, I feel like the problem with Nico's character is he's like Ron has said this, like, Nico's supposed to be a mystery just like his father, and having his own book means that Nico's no longer as much of a mystery. And I just feel like that doesn't work as much. Also, I hated the multi POV. I think it would have been better if it was all through Will's POV, just to like keep a tiny bit of Nico still a mystery. And I also really, as I said, wanted more badass power moments. Back to this book, I do like it. Like, obviously we know how it ends, because I mean, if you've read the Trials of Apollo, you know how it ends, because at the end it's mentioned that Percy's like going to college and all that stuff. Overall it was like pretty much fine. Not perfect, but fine, I guess. Anyway, bye.